Hello, everybody. I am the White Angel, and I am a conservative. So there will be at least one BitChute exclusive each week on Wednesday, since, if you upload any more than 2 videos to YouTube, they ratio your ass. I'm also going to start putting links in the description to my books account on Kobo.com so people can start buying my books. Please do so. I'm currently working on my first full-length novel. It'll be out soon. It's going to be great. So anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about my idea for Medicare for all citizens. Keep in mind that word citizens. There will be no Medicare for illegal aliens, because they are not our responsibility. They are the responsibility of their mother nation to take care of, not us. They are a strain on our system if we give them health care or benefits. If they're an illegal alien brought into a sanctuary city, quite frankly, the Democrats should be sanctioned or something. They should face some kind of indictment for assisting people into helping break federal law. It's because they wanted to secure these illegal aliens as a niche voter base, obviously. Immigrants always vote Democrat because the Democratic propaganda encourages them to do so. Still, if you come into the country legally and you get your green card, you may have health care. We'll call it green health. It'll be a specific care plan for them that will cover them for health expenses for their work. Whatever their work is. If it's construction, we can get you injury recovery. If it's something like warehouse, we can get you injury recovery. If it's in the food industry, we can get you insurance for any diseases or conditions you acquire there. And that's as long as you have a green card. Green health. So for citizens, I want there to be a public option. A well-paid-for public option and a private option both. Private option for those who afford it, and then a public option for those who can't. Yeah, basically, it would work sort of like food stamps. You have to send in the information and see if you're eligible, and then you get it. That'd be my idea as to Medicare for all, with the modification that it can only be for all citizens. And even then, the emphasis for people who can't afford private health care is that they should be on it. The abolitionists who want to abolish private health care are idiot socialists who don't understand a thing about economics or health care. They want to abolish all capitalism because they insist it's evil. That's only because of the propaganda. They don't actually know what capitalism is, which is the private ownership of the means of production as opposed to the public ownership of the means of production, which is socialism. They rarely know these things. They're young, naive college kids, typically, or they were in college like maybe 10 years ago. Or maybe they were only 10 years old during, Occupy Wall Street. I don't think I was into politics yet. I was alive for it. I think might have been maybe a teenager. But I wasn't really interested in politics till I was, 22, 26? Yeah. I was into philosophy by the time I was 24. I'm an amateur philosopher, political philosopher. But anyway, that would be sort of my plan. And the public option should be emphasized for the homeless and homeless veterans. When I say all citizens, I mean all citizens. And there's nothing worse than being a homeless veteran in this country, it seems like. Because you're seriously disadvantaged and people treat you like shit. Especially if you're leftist or in a left-wing city. Like, homeless veterans are either forgotten at best and straight up abused at worst. They're seen as privileged because they're white, which is nonsense. How the hell can you honestly say someone's privileged if they're fucking homeless? Yeah, that makes sense. They should get health care, especially the homeless veterans, and the homeless in general. But the Democrats don't care about the homeless. They want health care for illegal aliens. They want illegal aliens to keep voting for them so they can get power. Because for them, that's all it is, for the Democrats. Just power. That's all they want. That's what they've always wanted. And the payment for the public option will obviously be a tax increase, but we can reduce taxation by affording tax breaks for other things. We can give them tax breaks for homeschooling. Parents who homeschool their children, keep them out of the public system, which is horrific, by the way. The public system has gone to hell. we can give them tax breaks for that. We can give them tax breaks for charity, and we can cut taxation down to a certain minimum. I would say that the overall national taxation rate should be something like 25%. A 25% flat tax, with the absolute highest being 30 to 35%, but no higher than like 40. But ideally, you'd want to sit at around 25 flat tax, with no increase, with no substantial increase. That'll pay for your public health care and for your public, government benefits easily, because we got a huge population here in the United States. Got millions and millions of people. 25% flat tax is more than enough. We can definitely afford it, especially if we cut out of the military budget, which we absolutely should. We should cut down on the military and stop building all these crazy powerful ships that we're never going to use, and stop getting engaged in all these foreign wars that end human lives. Because my platform that I'm building, which is Reformed Conservatism, is all about preserving the culture and traditions of the United States and Western civilization. And how the hell are we going to do that if we keep running around making enemies? Huh? You think people are going to love us if we commit war against them and commit unspeakable acts? You think they loved us when Barack Obama was sending drone strikes against innocent citizens or civilians? No, man. When you cut down the military budget, stop engaging in endless foreign wars and ending human lives. This is not acceptable. This is a straight-up violation of the NAP. It completely ignores the principle of equal difference, and it is unethical in almost every fashion. War is a very ugly, hideous thing. Just ask anyone who's fought in one. Well, I myself never fought in war. I have had encounters with people who have. War can be extremely awful. True story. And we can take that money and we can put it into public health care and green health, and a mixed system of private and public health care. Private health care for the people who can afford it, and public health care for those who can't. And even someone who could afford private health care, maybe they can qualify for public health care if they can only just barely afford private insurance. Now keep in mind, establishing health care as a right is a travesty, because health care is the product of someone else's labor, and you do not have the right to the product of someone else's labor. We can establish access to healthcare as a right, but not the healthcare itself. Because the ethical problem is that you're essentially enslaving physicians. That in itself is a wrong. You are not entitled to the product of another person's labor, period. That is not how it works. Sorry. Maybe in socialist countries where people can be arrested for having an opinion, maybe in communist countries where people can be arrested for being the wrong religion, but here in America, in a liberal democratic republic, with a separation of church and state and capitalism, you do not have the right to the product of another person's labor. Claiming that you have the right to the product of another person's labor is either slavery or theft, definitionally. So no, what you have a right to is access to health care. You have a right to the ability to pay, not the health care itself. Plain and simple. This plan should be acceptable by any moderate Democrat or moderate Republican. Any conservative, any center-right or center-left person should have no problem with it whatsoever. The only problem I could see would be, well, here we go, the wacky far left, and probably far right and rhino cons, for that matter. So really, I'd just be pissing off the extremists. I'm okay with that. I hate the extremists. They think I'm evil anyway. Well, I think they're evil, so, there you go. So yeah, a public option and a private option, green health for people with a green card, no health care for illegal aliens, emphasize public health care for the homeless and homeless veterans. You have a right to access the care, but not to the care itself. And Democrats only want, power. There you go. Welcome to the revolution.